host of Respect My Region's Higher Women podcast, where we talk to influential women in cannabis and music. On today's show, we have this pleasure of speaking with Wendy Baker. She is the founder of Space Gem Company that makes THC tinctures and edibles. And today we're going to talk about her company, the edibles market, ice water hash edibles, and more. So, hi, Wendy. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Of course. Thanks so much for coming. So, where are you streaming in from today?
I'm in my office in Arcata, California, Humboldt County.
That's dope. I'm streaming in from Florida, so we're right across the states, but we're making it happen today.
Yeah,
Can
definitely.
Can you briefly introduce yourself for everybody today?
Hi, my name is Wendy Baker. I am the owner, founder, creator, visionary behind Space Gem. We are a vegan, solventless edible company made right here in Humboldt County. I've lived here in Humboldt County for the last 21 to 22 years, originally from the south side of Chicago. And cannabis has been part of my life ever since I moved to Humboldt County. It's been part of the culture and the community, and really grateful for it.
How did you first get into the community?
Well, I guess just friends moved out here. So friends moved out here first, and then, I heard, and obviously everyone hears about cannabis here in Humboldt County, and I came out here, and I was just embraced and in love with the fact of, I met people who this was their life, growing, trimming, and this is how they made a living, and is much different than in Chicago, and how to, the grateful and beautiful healing properties of cannabis. And I've never seen cannabis like that at that moment in time, so that was like really important to me. And then I moved and I got a house, and with my partner at the time, and got a 6-lighter, I think a 2-lighter, a 4-lighter, and then a 6-lighter. It's like, woo!
What's that?
Just growing,
Okay.
So I started off with 2 lights, went to 4 lights, went to 6 lights.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yep, definitely, totally. I know. I guess that's like Humboldt talk, so good to call me out on that.
Yeah, it's all different, everywhere you go. Was there any kind of concert that kind of led you to start getting into the cannabis industry in a business way?
Well, I think that if you're talking about the fish thing that you asked me before, but my AirPod.
Don't want to stay in.
I guess just coming out here and seeing Humboldt, I definitely have to attribute it to Fish or Further or Widespread Panic. Just going around and traveling and seeing those bands. But what you're actually talking about is like a little bit different of, just how Space Gem came about. But actually, I was talking to our friend Joey's friend Justin, and we were actually talking about that. And we were talking about the glass scene, actually, and about how 9 to 10 years ago, the glass scene was like really starting to pop. There was like Borough Market. There was hash. With all these different ways to smoke hash. There were no more knife hits. There were, skillets and nails, and pieces were for, smoking hash. And actually, it was more part of the glass community of learning and seeing all these talented people being cannabis, making a living off of it, and creating art. And, I think that was really attributed to a lot of it. And I just never really talk about that. But as you talked about the fish, I went on a girls' trip with my girlfriends, and we stopped at Harborside, and we picked up edibles and Candies and stuff like that. But I don't think I would have even thought of that if it wasn't for glass either. I just want to point that out too, and just making art and So basically I just took, the candies, and I ate them, and I was like, wow, this is like really awesome. And I just went home and like started making candy because I always had hash, and I just knew I could take the hash and put it in the candy, and it would make the candy taste really well. And I knew how to make candy, so yeah.
Where does your background in candy making come from?
Oh my God, it's from dating a Southern man and making fudge on Christmas. Like that's really what my candy background is recreating his mother's Christmas at feasting.
I love that.
And
And then you
like, that
just
was
took
like
those
so.
like two loves and you put them together.
I just took two loves and put them together. Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I mean, because like even back then we would like go to glass shows and I would make like cookies and stuff, but the candy like took a little bit, wasn't as easy as, easy as it was,
For
it definitely
sure.
is like a little learning. We started off with hard candies, and that's where I started. And from hard candies, I went to gummies, and from there I just kept going.
And so there's a thing called like ice water hash edibles. How did you go from the candy, and is that also a part of the candy as well?
Oh yeah, so like originally I first started with hard candies, and they're made with BHO, and
Okay.
so that's like amazing and great, because that's what we were all smoking back then, and who God knows like what we were smoking of the BHO. It was just on the market. Some of it was black, some of it was clear. I don't even know. We'd make it, yeah. But as I was like starting to make things with BHO, I started to like stand in front of my company, and just people started asking me questions about BHO, about the safety of it, which is like a big factor, safety of it, and the like how clean it is. How do I know that you're not eating butane cash oil? Like how do I know you're not
Right.
eating butane? So those things started to come about. This guy, his name is Matt Rise, started posting articles on Instagram about his ice water hash, and looking at percentages of ice water hash of like, hey, this ice water hash is 67% THC, and BHO was like 73% THC that I was using. I was like, hey, what's the difference here? What about if I just move away from BHO and just use ice water hash? So then when I'm talking to people, they're not asking me these questions and I feel weird or feel like a doctor, or like I'm not trying to make people sick, and I don't want people to come back at me and say these things. So
Right.
why don't I just take and just make it with ice water hash? It's a little more expensive, and I'm going to have to probably use a little bit more ice water hash, but what's the difference? And it was a really bold move that I made. And because I was in shops and stuff, and they're like, what are you doing? But then it like really worked out for me. And so, I'm really grateful for that, to move forward. And that was kind of like always my niche.
And what brought about the Space Gems name?
Oh yeah, totally. So I was like making candies, and my friend took them to a local dispensary here in Arcata. It's called HPRC. And so like, yeah, we want these. We want them on our shelves. And I was like, all right, cool. So I went and I waited in the waiting room, and then I talked to them, and they're like, we want these, but you have to come up with a name and you have to make a label. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. I went home, went to like a local place and was talking to my friends, and I was like, gem space, because they look like little gems and they take you to space. But at the end of the day, it became Space Gem, and so they're little gems that take you to space. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Do you do any freeze dried candies as well? Because I know I've seen a lot of that on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Totally, we
What
do
kind of?
not do that. I wish, and if I was back in the traditional market, that would be my jam. But right now in the regulated market, we are a packaged good item, and so it's a little different than the traditional market where you can just make whatever you want. Because the traditional market, I can make like unicorn lollipops. I could like design them, put like all colors in them, and make fruit roll-ups and do all this other stuff. It's just a little bit of a different world.
So what kind of like restrictions is there? Like, can you go into detail on like some of the marketing things that you can't do with like candy?
Well, one, you can't say the word candy. So that's
Got
like
you.
number
Okay.
one. So
Right.
that's like the first rule, obviously. But it's just like you have to come up with like a mass production. It's not the fact that you can't do it. It's the fact that you have to have space for it. You have to have packaging for whatever you create. And then you have to have it as a packaged good. And, as a packaged good, you have to make sure that that product will last like a year. As much as hopefully it won't stay on the shelf a year, but that is something that you have to think about. So as you go into production and make bigger batches, they can't be, my batches used to be like, 100 pieces max. Now we're talking 10,000s. So
Wow.
it's definitely a different world.
For sure. And
Mhm.
so I know that you have a tincture with around 600 milligrams in it. How did you land on that number for the tincture?
Oh, totally. So our tincture was actually made, it was started because these two twins from the hill in Southern Humboldt were like, hey, if you can make this like syrup, these rappers guys will buy it. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, totally. I'm gonna try to make the syrup. I'm gonna make it with hash and make it way better than all the other stuff because the other stuff was like make it with snow cone syrup.
Hmm.
And I was like, no problem. And so I made it, and I made it with fruit, and I made it like super healthy, like organic fruit, like fresh fruit, cooking it like a simple syrup. And they, like, the rappers guys didn't like it. They thought it was like too organic, too hippie-ish, and it
Mm.
wasn't like with their thing. And we started with 600 milligrams because our tincture like totally blows people's mind away of that syrup. And we have to look out for our patients and our patient safety. And you can always buy more, and but a safe thing is 600 milligrams. We would love to do 1,000, but anytime I'm like, oh, we're going to do 1,000, so we try, we make it, and someone drinks it and it's like, I've been high for like 4 days. I'm like, all right, I can't do that. I can't put out a product where I have people telling me that. Like, I
Yeah.
just can't,
Yeah, that's just not
but
funny,
people are like, I want it. I want it. There's those people who have super high tolerance and they're amazing. And yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. We'll just stay with 600 and we'll see how far we
Yeah.
go. And we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah. And what has been like some of the biggest wins with Space Jam? Like, how long have you been doing it as
Oh
well?
yeah. I mean, I started out in my home kitchen. So I like really want to say that. Like I was making my like things from my home. I think the biggest wins for Space Jam is the fact that we've been doing it for we're on the 9th year. And it's
Woo,
like pretty
congrats.
incredible. It's like, the fact that yeah, I mean, it's as I look back, even in my iPhone of like all the things, I'm like, oh my God, life. Like it
Yeah.
just keeps going. It's my baby. I treat it like my baby. I respect it as much as my baby. This isn't just me, this is definitely the universe helping and guide it. But yeah, I mean, now we have 18 team members, and we have a building. I'm not in my home. I don't have a candy factory in my home anymore. I'm not. I went from my home to a trailer to a warehouse room to my own place, and now we just got approved for another building to move up to the next place. So there's definitely some big wins every day with some big losses, not like, yep. But yeah, we're over 300 stores, a brand from Humboldt, me, my thing.
No, you're good. The AirPod just wants to escape.
I know it does. Me, just like, the candy, I was a candy girl, and I don't think a lot of people took me seriously. And I'm really grateful to still be standing here as a woman and as a person in this community. And
That's
saying,
dope.
like, hey,
Yeah, you're in it and doing it for 9 years. Like you can definitely like call yourself like an expert in the field. Like that's really cool that you went through that. What's your favorite candy outside of THC?
Oh my God, no, every single candy store, every single town I go into, we go to a candy store. I do not go to a candy store. I get so much inspiration from there. I always think about if I would just do regular candies, I would sell just as well. But it's just.
Who says you can't do both?
Who's a girl? I totally agree. Who says he can't do both? But yeah, I think that as soon as I figure everything out with Space Jam, I can go on the other side too.
Yeah,
because my gummy recipe is my own. So
yeah.
It's like my gummy recipe came to me. I quit on it several times, and it came to me in a yoga class. And when I was like, I'm gonna go teach yoga. I'm gonna go learn how to teach yoga, and then all of a sudden it came to me, and I went home and made it the gummy, because my gummy is completely different. It's vegan, it's organic. People weren't doing that back then. It's like, what we were doing, like people were just not there yet in the gummy manufacturing. And now it's a totally different world, but our gummy is completely different. It's a different recipe. It's my own, and I'm really proud of it.
That's dope. And did you have any like people that inspired you or helped you in your mission?
That's really interesting that you say that, because I've definitely thought about that. And that's why I'm like, oh, my best friend used to work for Bang, and like a long time ago, and I definitely saw that, bloom into what it was. But yeah, I just think I got maybe inspiration from everyone. There wasn't some pinpoint moment that I got. There wasn't, nobody taught me how to do any of this. This is really just like the universe and me figuring it out, writing notes down, trial and error, and giving it like once I started to realize that people needed my medicine, I was like, this is my purpose. I just wanted to be of service to the universe. That was my whole goal with this, to be of service to the universe. And what could I bring to the table? What could I make that would help people live a better life? And that was, yeah. So I guess I got inspiration from people, and just trial and error.
That's really cool. It's like what's his name with I always think of the light bulb, you know what I mean, with all the different kinds of things. You go into it, 2000 trials, and then you come out the other side with like something to be proud of. And it's really cool that it all worked out. What's your favorite flavor of your stuff?
Oh my God, it's Space Gems. So fig is my favorite flavor. It's definitely my favorite flavor, but watermelon is definitely coming up. I don't know. We have our space drops have 23 different rotating flavors, because I cannot decide on a flavor, and I drive everyone crazy. I drive the people I sell it to crazy. I drive the people that eat it crazy, because I'm like, it's a miracle of deliciousness in a box. You just don't know what you're gonna get. It's just a miracle, and you're gonna love it. And you don't have any I don't like the cherry or this. You just don't know. But
yeah,
they don't really like that either. But I'm like, I can't decide. They're just all so good. They're just all so good.
I love that. Do you have any products or plans already in store for the rest of 2022, other than getting the new place?
Well, obviously, right now, I think I'm waiting for packaging. Packaging is my biggest hurdle ever. It's my biggest hurdle. So
what kind? Is it the actual storage packaging, or what kind of packaging?
Our tins, the gummies that go into them.
Oh, okay.
We have go on.
Oh, I was gonna say, what's the problem with it? Is it just the marketing of it, or because I know that there's a lot of different states that have certain regulations on kid proofing or something. I don't know if that's ever an issue.
Yeah, totally. We have to kid proof our packaging. But it's more of just getting it from overseas and, all the trouble that happened. I'm about to sneeze.
Oh,
Woo. And then my
bless you.
AirPod fell out.
Yeah, luckily I was gonna wear my AirPods today, but I stole my boyfriend's headphones, so
I'm like,
what's
I
wrong with
should have
you?
done that. Should have stolen my kids' headphones.
Yeah, for real. These are nice. These are like nice
I know
gamer
they are
headphones. It has like
nice.
the little this too, but I stole his mic as well. This is like his whole setup actually, like his camera too. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm just like in his shoes right now.
Well, that's very nice of him. Good boyfriend.
Yes, for real, the best. So, do you have anybody supporting you as well? Do you have somebody in your life,
What do you mean?
like I don't know, boyfriend or like your
Like, what do
parents
you
or
mean?
like a dog
Uh,
or
I have two kids.
oh,
I'm a
dope.
single mom to two kids. Yeah, so I have an 18-year-old who like basically seen Space Jam from the start to finish. Well, not
That's
the
so
finish, but
cool.
the start, to now. Who's definitely helped guide Space Jam to make sure I make the best candy because we're both candy fanatics. And then I have a 5-year-old.
That's
And
awesome.
nope, I don't like not like that. Nope.
How do you do it? Like being a mom and being a business owner at the same time.
Oh
Must
my
I can't even.
god.
I'm like taking care of a cat, and I just have a job, and I'm already like it's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot being a woman. It's a lot being a
Yeah,
woman and working and going for your dream. It's a
for
lot,
sure.
and I don't want to like sugarcoat it at all.
Yeah,
And but I also feel like I have a purpose, and I'm here, and yeah, I have a purpose. So I really want my kids to like be a part of my life, and yeah,
that's
yeah.
beautiful.
I think being a woman in business, it's really difficult too because this is like if you have a baby, you have a baby, and
Yeah, you
yeah,
actually got
yeah.
3 babies.
I actually have 3 babies. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
one huge baby, and then well, one almost adult baby now, and
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
baby. Well, congratulations. That's so cool. Having life is super cool.
Definitely. And I think like as women, like that's, we just try to, especially in this stage in our lives of where women are, um, we need to like rise up
For sure,
and
for
do it.
sure. That's
Mm-hmm.
why like I love having
Yeah.
this platform and talking to like super dope women and giving them a platform to share about their businesses because like we just like knowing about like cool things like what you're doing is the start of like so many other conversations that people can have, right, about including women in the space, about what I mean, just like what goes on as a businesswoman, the different sides of it, because I've talked to a couple women now that have had a lot of different lives, and like here they are, here you are, I
Yeah.
mean, kicking ass, taking names, creating really
Mhm.
cool stuff, and like continuously going up every year. What motivates you to? I mean, obviously your purpose, but like what motivates you to like just like keep coming up with these different ideas? Like what keeps you creative?
Definitely the candy store. So
Yeah,
definitely the candy store. Yeah. And customers. I'm really grateful for them. I mean, some of them have been with me for 9 years. They tell me, and the stories, are really, it's they're unbelievable. How many people Space Jam has helped, and it's it's pretty incredible. I went from not showing my face at all, just not the fact not being okay with it, but just like because I was a mom and I just didn't want that view, even though I lived in Humboldt County. But now it's like being super proud and of what I do and the people I help, and I'll tell anyone. what's going on.
Yeah. How has
Yeah.
living in Humboldt County differed from Chicago?
Oh my God, it's like so different.
Night
I
and
mean,
day.
just the fact that I like can't be arrested for smoking weed on the street is like number one, you know? I think that was like the biggest thing. I just realized I couldn't live my life the way I wanted to live my life if I would have stayed in Chicago.
For sure.
And, you know, I love Chicago. I love the city. I miss that. You know, I miss the culture. I miss where I grew up. I miss, you know, all that. But I think for me, like, I wanted to be a leader and I wanted to, you know, help people. And I don't know I could have done that there. That, you know, in those times. Obviously, now it's a little bit different with them being legal too. But I mean, that's like $1 million license right there, you know? So
Yeah.
how can I, yeah.
And how are like the regulations around setting up a business like in Humboldt County? Like is it easy as a weed business? Because I know everywhere it's different.
Yeah, I mean, everywhere is different, but, you know, just setting up, yeah, I don't even know like what I was thinking doing that license. You know, like it's just, you know, filling out that paperwork. Sometimes it is like reading a foreign language, just the way all the paperwork reads. And um, I mean, I would love to be like, oh, it's a piece of cake, but I don't even know if it's a piece of cake, to totally be honest. I just feel like it just keeps going every day, and there's gonna be road bumps and everything, and I'm gonna cry and then try a different way.
Yeah.
Like that's like my mentality.
Pivot. You know what I mean? When life gets
Yeah,
hard, just keep
pivot.
pivoting. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
but not take no for an answer. You
Yeah.
know, not take no.
For sure, because like I'm a manifesting person myself. I believe like if you're looking at something and you want it the most, like you could have it, and just keep trying for your goals and keep having it in mind as like something you're working towards, and like it's achievable for you. Did you always see yourself, um, being in the candy space, or what did you always wanted to do when you grew up?
No, I had like no idea. Like I
Yeah,
really didn't have any idea. I think that was like a girl that was like brought up to be probably a wife. You know, that was just like probably like what I was. Go get married. You know, that's just like your life. You know, but I just knew that wasn't my life. So I didn't, and I had no like Space Jam like really came out of like nowhere. Probably like, you know, I was like growing, and weed prices here during that time started to tank, and I just feel that at that moment in time, everyone wanted OG Kush, and I had all these like crazy amazing strains, but that smelled really good. That like you know like Fruity Pebbles, Alien Dog Cherry, and people didn't like Wi-Fi 3. Um, yeah, I just think that like they weren't ready for that market, you know? And so I feel that, you know, I was just like, I'm over being a girl going to ask a guy who's not my boyfriend to sell my weed, you know? And
yeah,
I think that that's like it kind of came when it was not the you know a low moment in my life of like how am I going to make this work? How am I going to pay for this kid? What can I do to be in this space? And you know keep a roof over my head.
yeah. For real, that pressure created a diamond. Like
Yeah, the pressure created a diamond. Yeah, definitely.
that's really cool. And
Yeah.
so do you plan on staying in the area for like the next 10 years, 5 years, or life? Like what are you thinking about? Moving soon?
That's actually like a really good question. Do I plan on staying in Humboldt or just
Yeah.
like the yeah, I love it here. I lived here for like the last like 21 years, and you know, so it's like over half my life. I mean, not half my life, but just at half mark of my life. Um, I do miss a city a lot, you know, and I miss culture, like museums and seeing different things like that, and you know, the bustle of life, you know. But my family is here, and I have like a really great school for my kid, and I gotta like think about things like that. But I definitely, I am definitely open to different things. Also, I guess if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't even know because I've been living in Florida for a long time. I know I'm gonna stay here for the next couple of years, but I don't know what I'm gonna do because luckily with like the RMR thing, we can be remote, so I can be wherever. But I like Florida for we got a lot of cool concerts, and I like the air over here. But I also like yearn for the city and stuff like that. I never really lived in like a big city, mostly a small town kind of gal. But now I live in Orlando, so kind of a lie, but like I don't live in the city. You know what I mean? I live on like the outside. But
Oh, oh my god, that's so funny. My parents live in Claremont.
okay, that's like that's right over here.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
totally. Yeah, yeah,
I live in
totally.
Castleberry. I'm gonna be moving to Maitland soon.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, my parents live in Claremont. And but like, yeah, I was just thinking about that, like, concerts and stuff, man. You got Rolling Loud coming in. I just looked at the lineup. I'm like, oh my God, it's gonna be so sick.
yeah,
Yeah,
for real.
totally.
And me and a couple of the RMR gals, a couple of us are in Florida all at the same time right now, and we're all gonna go to Okeechobee like literally tomorrow, 8 a.m. So we're gonna be road tripping out and doing that. Like literally, like I've been packing. She's gonna like come into my house afterwards. And we're gonna like pack up the car and go. Like we love doing stuff like that. Is there any like
That's
really cool
fun.
concerts that you've been to recently?
I think like the last one was I went to the Rolling Stones, so that was like really cool to see them,
Very cool. Yeah.
But Outside Lands was like super dope too. Like I think that was my first concert since COVID, just because of the way California has been.
Right.
But it was really amazing. Tyler the Creator, there's a mosh pit, like right. I was not ready. I was not ready for it. But
I I have a cool
yeah.
story with Tyler the Creator. When he came to, I've seen him twice now in concert, but when he came to Orlando, he came to like UCF, which is where I was going at the time, and I had stayed in line with some people because I had bought a ticket off of somebody that I like knew, kind of like just happened to meet, and she was like, "Hey, you want tickets?" And then I met up with her friends, and then we went in, and I was wearing this really interesting outfit. I was wearing a cowboy hat, a neon cowboy hat, if you've ever seen those. It was
Yes.
orange, and I had like these really cool sunglasses on and like a really interesting fit. Like it was definitely not like Tyler vibes, but it was something. And I was wearing these glasses, and I saw his outfit. He was wearing all yellow, and I was like yelling up to him. I was like, "You want to like?" I was wearing these glasses that were yellow, and I was like, "You want to wear these glasses?" And he was like, "Yeah, can I wear those right quick?" And then he put them on stage, and he like did a whole song and then gave him back to me afterwards. It was like the coolest moment ever because I'm a big Tyler the Creator fan, love him to death. So it's a big moment for me. Are you a big fan?
Yeah, like my 18-year-old son is actually going to go to Orlando to go see him this month or whatever. Yeah, so he listens to them all the time, so I hear them, and he's got me totally into them. And then seeing him
Facts.
in concert was just like, I was like, oh my God, this guy is like amazing.
Yeah, he's
So,
definitely like a performer, and I loved like just from 2014 his music videos. If you go all the way back, he's just like a creator, Tyler the Creator for real. And
yeah.
I've been inspired by him too. Like I have my brand is called Madi the Creative after that kind of whole thing. So there's definitely a lot of influence there. But have you ever thought about like coming to Florida and doing a concert sometime? So we do
uh,
have Rolling Loud. I haven't even been yet, but
I haven't been that. I know I'm gonna have to go. I know my son was. We were just talking about too because he like Kanye is like, yeah, like I am all in, and he's like Future. He's like Future never plays, and yeah, little Uzi Bird, and he just named all these people, and so yeah, I'm gonna have to buy him tickets to like
for
go and
real,
hang
you
out
gotta
with
go
him.
too.
I
Tag
gotta
tag
go
along.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
I've been meaning to invite my mom to a concert. I think, well, we've been to Tortuga together, which is like a concert that's kind of like a country concert on the beach. It's also very fire, super fun. Like I don't listen to country like on my own. But I'll go to a country
Yeah.
concert because like the vibes are immaculate. It's just a great time. Everybody's drinking beer on the beach, and it's like Kenny Chesney, and like everybody's just chilling. It's a really good time.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh
So
man.
so what is like your genre of music? What's your like what's your go-to?
Well, I feel like to totally be honest, because I was like listening to Fish, and that's like all I would listen to. But then I read this article about how if you don't change up your music, like you will like just listen to the same music, you know.
Mm.
So I started to change up my music, and then started listening to what my 18-year-old son would play, and he basically just gave me his song list, and yeah, I just started listening, you know, because like I'm like I love Beyonce, I love Kanye, and but I've always loved them, but you know, just changing it up and like now going to Tyler and Doja Cat and
Oh, she's on my
yeah,
list for sure.
I know, yeah, I
Megan the
mean,
Stallion's gonna actually be the one we're going to.
oh
Um,
no way, really?
yeah, her and Tame Impala, and who else? Rez is going. Troy Boy. Yeah, it's like a pretty big EDM lineup, and then also Earth Gang's going to
The
Smino.
Earth Gang,
Yeah,
yeah.
so couple of fun people. I'm very excited to go see if I can sneak backstage.
You're like,
We'll
come
hope.
on, respect my
We'll
region.
hope. Well, I like we've done it before. Like it's not necessarily sneak backstage, but like usually like whenever we go places, I just always ask. I'm like, can I go backstage? And I show them like the wristband, right? And they just usually they get confused or they don't know, and they're just like, sure. And I never cause a problem, so I'm usually allowed back there. But we'll see, because it's like
We'll
they always say,
see.
it's like, oh, this is a big, fest. You never know, but I don't know. I just like to ask questions, and it's what's the worst they can say? No, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Then you just go on, and then you just try to find something else. Um, but yeah, so like California, what do you do there? What's your hobbies? Walking around? Are you a swimmer, a beach gal?
I really like the beach, but up here in Humboldt, it's like so cold you can't even go in the water. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's so cold. Yeah, that water is like 50 degrees. It's like even in the summer, it's like when you go in, it's like basically like you're walking on sharp ice, like pins and needles like in your feet. I was like, man, even with
Oh
the
my
wetsuit,
gosh.
I was like, what is going on here? But yeah, I mean the beach. I mean, just Space Jam's my life. You know, my two kids, and you know,
True,
I
true.
would love to be like, yeah, I go to the forest and I do all that, but I've done all that. You know, I go every once in a while. Really like riding my bike, and you know, just keep that going. And, you know, love
For
looking at
sure.
the ocean, but yeah, I love looking at the ocean in SoCal too when I can actually go in the water or like it's warm and sunny and you know.
Have you seen a lot of like change in yourself and in like the business from like COVID and just like the world right now over time,
Oh my
over the last some
God.
years?
Yeah. Yeah. COVID is real, you know? Not, yeah. I just mean anyone who owns a business, like, or a manager or a team member, it's like, and you work, I mean, it's not as easy as we all like to think it is, and cut and dry, and you know, black and white. It's so much gray area, and you know, what I really think about COVID is like mental health. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how we all are. You know, up here in Humboldt, it's you know, I realized that we were way more isolated than other places,
Hmm.
but you know, mental health, you know. So
Yeah,
I hope everyone's doing good, and you know, got to check on your team members because it is, you know, we all have to wear masks, and it's not, you know, how do we navigate that, and how do you navigate people's feelings, and you know, what's going on in our daily lives as all of our lives are being affected, you know.
right.
Yeah.
Is anybody on your team like a part of your family or friends, or like how did you go about sourcing like the people for your company?
I don't know. I just put up a posting. I
Facts.
like put up a posting. Yeah, I mean, there's like some people like I didn't really poach anyone from anyone else, or maybe from like the sushi place that was closing. I was like, hey, you need a job. It's my
Facts.
favorite sushi place, but yeah, no, every like my manager, one of my first friends from here in Humboldt, like that's her boyfriend, but it's just, try to keep it like that.
That's really
As much
cool though. Like, you know what I mean? It all works together, and like you found a way to employ like a bunch of people and like get your passion off the ground and like be a mom. You're doing so many things. I hope that you're very proud of yourself. For real, for real. For real, for real. Like,
Oh,
because I've been
well,
hearing like a lot of people lately, a lot of successful people lately have been saying like, I'm not there yet, or like, I'm looking for that. But you definitely should pat yourself on the back for what you've accomplished, for sure.
no, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yep, I
Yeah.
try to remember that every day. Yep, definitely. It's
What
like,
would you?
go on.
I was gonna say, like, what would be your advice for like women getting into like the cannabis space or just like business in general, from your perspective?
It's just we all have our roads. Some are super fast and some are super slow. And I'm 9 years, and I had a baby. And just savor those moments. And even when you're small, and you feel like you're just making edibles, and this is like in the traditional market. And I always knew this would be like, I always knew I would make it like this in some form of a way. That's been my goal, to be top 5 in the state of California. But we just got to keep pushing. We got to keep going and just do it with love. And we are going to get our doors shut. We're just going to be told, like you're just a candy lady, this or that. Keep going. Just keep going. Just keep trying, pivoting, and don't give up. Just don't. Don't take no for an answer. Um, Definitely. Try to work on this every day. Is try to control your emotions and not cry. But sometimes we just break down and we do cry.
For sure.
And to know that our moon cycles are real. Like there is no getting around this. There's no like there are gonna be days that you're gonna be curled up in that bed and you have a million things to do. But that's just our bodies. And that's what makes us a woman. And
For sure.
we gotta put ourselves first sometimes and take care of that. And right afterwards we'll have a better attitude and be ready to go and
Yeah,
not
for me,
just
it's
like
like eating a good meal. Sometimes in the morning, I can find myself just like not myself until I really eat. And sometimes it just happens to be that I just like start working and then, or just, doing a million other things. And then you get to the end of the day and you're like a monster. That's me.
yeah, I definitely like struggle with that too. Of like sometimes you just hit that ground running and it's just like nonstop all day. And then,
Yeah.
drink your water. You do have time to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like there is time to go to the bathroom. But
How,
yeah,
when did, so do you like wake up at the, like, you wake up at the same time every day and do you go to like bed at the same time every day? Or are your days chaotic and different?
my days are like definitely different every day. Definitely different every day. I do listen to like uh and like sleep hypnosis every
Mm,
night to like try to like, especially when I feel like things are going not my way.
mm.
Like, try to listen to sleep
Yeah,
hypnosis every night so I
for
wake up with
sure.
like a better attitude of problem solving.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would love to be, I don't know, just sometimes you just can't sleep. And
right.
that's gonna happen. So yeah, and I'm not about like the whole routine thing.
Yeah.
That's not me. I like
Yeah,
to.
me neither. Like, honestly, like, there's something. in me that like literally I'll set a schedule for a week and then something will click and I'll be like, you've been doing good. Now you don't need to do that anymore. And then it's just like do something else. Like you did that, now conquer something else and completely forget about that thing that you just did. So what I've been doing now is like trying to write them down in these little like I have these like tiny little envelopes and I like leave them everywhere. I feel like an old lady that like, needs to make sure she has like takes care of the cats and like takes her meds and stuff like that. But like legitimately like I have like different things around the house, just little things to remember like, hey, you figured this out before. You know what I mean? Do it again here. Because sometimes my routines, they just don't exist. It really just be like that. Like, I don't even know. I'm trying to get better about it, but like I've me and my friend Hannah, she also works here. We've talked at length about just like what is the best, way to do things like with being productive and like mental health and just, making you money. There's like all these different and spending times with the people you love, right? There's just so many different pillars and things you gotta uphold to make it all make sense and yourself happy, It's just like but I don't know that anybody will really figure it out. Like, I think I need to just stop asking people if they know, like, what's the secret? Because I feel like everybody's, trying
Yeah, I
to
feel like,
wake up and go to bed at some point. But,
yeah, I mean, I even like try to journal, I really want to like take these like times in my life and like make a book out of it. Um, but yeah, I know I really struggle with that too sometimes.
yeah. Do you have like other, like, what's your like little goals outside of like your business? Like, do you have like, I want to learn French? I want to learn how to do this, or I want to go somewhere. Do you have any of those like
Uh,
things?
I really want to write a book. I really want to write a book on my story, and I
True.
really want to inspire women. And I really want to like inspire women to, you know,
Do you know what it would
um,
be called? Do you have like a catchy title?
I mean, I'll probably do like Wendy the Space Gem,
Cool.
just like my
Yeah,
Instagram name.
that's dope.
Just, yeah, just keep it like that. Or I don't know. I guess that's a good question.
No, I think about this stuff all the time too. Even when it comes down to my Spotify like playlist, I'm always like, what's the title? Like what's the thing? If you could either have well, if you could have like a strain named after like something, what would you make like a strain? It's like hard to phrase that question. It's like how like what would you put together to make a strain and then what would you name it?
Oh my God, I don't even know. I mean, that's like a really hard question. There's like
Yeah,
so many strains.
I
Like
know.
there's so many strains.
Are you more of like
Um,
a do you smoke for like sleep or do you smoke for creativity? Like what's your
um, to totally be honest, I feel like I smoke for like stress relief
true?
or just to like, be able to handle life. I don't know if I like, and just maybe because I smoke a lot, I can just smoke and smoke. Like it's
Yeah.
not like I'm so high, but I just get really high off of edibles. That's
Yeah,
like where I can't contain sometimes.
I feel.
But yeah, I'm like, I feel like the prettiest weed I ever grew was Alien Dog Cherry, and
Hmm.
that was, the breeder on that was, I believe, it was obsolete. So that's like back in the day.
Hmm. I've always wanted to grow my own. I've had a couple seeds over time, but I've always just never planted them, I guess. But it seems like a really fun and like fruitful process. Like was it super fun to grow for the bit?
I think it was like super fun. Yeah, the things I didn't like about it are so funny. We're hauling the bags of soil sometimes, especially when you just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And the transplanting, and
Hmm.
but everything else I could. And the harvesting's like a fun part, like as long as you did good. But there's always sometimes those gardens where you're like, I'm partying like way too much. This fucking sucks. This is
Yeah.
like a reality check in my face, and I have to harvest all this weed. Oh my God. What am I going to
Is it
do with
like
it?
yeah, is so what kind of things like can affect is there anything that affects potency in the grow process from like what kind of soil you use or is it only from like the genetics that really play a part in that?
I really thought like back in the day, I really thought that it was like, oh, if you grow in soil, this will make higher THC instead of like rock wool and stuff. But to totally be honest, like I don't even know anymore,
Hmm.
because I've seen some crazy THC percentages on some packaging, and I don't even know. What I
Yeah.
thought, it's what people are getting. It's just kind of like mind blowing. How did we go from weed that was like 20% to weed that's like almost 38% THC? Like I don't even know how that like works out, and I don't know how there's 38% of THC in a gram of weed when in bubble hash there's like 50% THC. So like in a gram of bubble hash, like I don't get it. Like I don't get what like this whole THC percentage thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have mixed feelings about it as well because some of them say like there's so much more to it than the
Yeah.
THC percentage. So like there's a lot of people that and I did an article the other day about how the Emerald Cup is coming out with basically a class system for the different strains because I guess it was hard to do before because a lot of it, marketing and everything saying like it can do this, it can do that, but I don't know
Yeah.
how they're just like we're like putting it out there. These are the there's like Jackson Hayes, there's like exotics and all these different things, but it doesn't even include like the THC percentage as a part of that graph. So I don't even know like when they're doing these competitions, like I don't think that they're including, the most potent strain, which is so interesting considering that like that's a part of the culture as well. Maybe I'm getting that wrong, but
Well, it's because they're doing it on terpenes.
yeah,
So that's like, terpenes are a feeling. And, with smoking, that's like, you feel the terpenes, you're not
for
going to be able
sure.
to eat terpenes like that and have an
Yeah.
effect. But smoking, yeah, it is really interesting. I feel like they've done that before too, just like really focused on the terpenes and how many, like what you have present in that flower, which is really awesome. They should do that. That
Yeah.
is, because this THC percentage stuff, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like crazy. Like you could smoke stuff that's like 18% and feel higher than you do off of like, 38%.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's all different, and then even so like, different strains affect different people, right? You could all smoke the same stuff and then somebody could have like a different reaction, you know what I mean? At the end of the day.
yeah, because cannabis is like healing, like, it's healing our bodies. It's like,
Yeah,
like we all have different things going on and different cells that need to be healed. And yep, it just isn't just one thing, anymore. And yeah,
I didn't
definitely we
even
need
know
to have
that
that.
I didn't even know that you can't consume terpenes without smoking them. So
Yeah.
that doesn't play a part in edibles.
Yeah, this is like my philosophy, and like I really like stand by it because I feel like there's a lot of mismarketing about it, that's saying that they have terpenes of indica and this and that. Terpenes burn, like basically a terpene's like a fragrance,
Right,
You're making a gummy, like you're cooking that gummy to like, over 200 degrees, there's smoke, there's steam, how are you infusing that terpene without losing that terpene?
right.
And how much terpene do you need to like eat to be able to feel something? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It just doesn't make sense because whatever terpenes you're putting in there are just such minuscule of like what we're consuming.
right. Because it's like point, something,
Yeah, it's
something.
like 0.02, like how
Yeah,
do we know that our body is uptaking, some crazy like small amount and saying that's going to affect our mood? That doesn't make
right.
sense.
Yeah. And it is
Mhm.
interesting and it's hard too because when you think about regulations on a product and then you think about the things you can and cannot say, there's a lot of things that can be like lost in the translation for the people that aren't in the know. You know what I mean? About like certain things, like the people getting into cannabis, like maybe nowadays that didn't really have a more cultural upbringing. Like other people
Yeah.
say, for instance, like they smoked it before it was like even, you know what I mean, in the dispensary versus like straight up starting at the dispensary. Um,
Yeah, because
Like how?
even go on.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was like, even us, we don't label our products indica, sativa, or hybrid, just because that's like such an outdated way to think,
Yeah.
and I don't think that strain specific works either, I think like there's potential there, like definitely, and like the science of cannabis isn't there yet. So I just
Yeah.
like want to express that. But at this moment in time, I don't think strain specific like works unless you have like a crazy high CBG plant or high THCV plant, and then that translates into the oil or the ice water hash or however you infuse it. Yeah, I just don't think that like makes sense. Yeah.
And why is it called ice water hash?
Oh yeah, totally. So basically, ice water hash is made with ice, water, and cannabis. And
Huh.
basically, you take the cannabis and you put it into ice and water, and you agitate it, and you have mesh bags, and you basically like pull out the ice and water, and you're breaking off the trichome head from the stem of the plant.
Hmm.
And
That's
then that little cannabinoid, like what do they say? Like that cannabinoid has like over 200. So the trichome head has like over 200 cannabinoids in it. We only test for like 13, maybe 16,
wow.
So, but like how do, our testing, those other cannabinoids might be so minuscule that we might not see it, but that could matter, that could make a difference,
Yeah. There's like
yeah.
a lot of different ways to. I mean, I've read a lot of about different. I don't know, even ways to grow, different ways to like even process like the hash at the end of the day. Like how did you come up with doing like this specific one? You said that you saw somebody else do it?
Well, I just like started to read about it, just like THC percentage. If we're just trying to get THC percentage and keep a whole plant vibe, like distillate isn't a cannabis product. Distillate is a compound of the cannabis plant because you're basically just taking the THC out. That's all you care about. But ice water hash has the other components and compounds and cannabinoids of the cannabis plant because you are taking off that trichome head. And yeah, you're not taking the leaf or any of the other, the chlorophyll or whatever part, but you're taking an important part in that our bodies need to feed our endocannabinoid system. And so we all know that in our endocannabinoid system, THC is that captain, and so basically tells the other cannabinoids like CBD you can't take. You're not going to get the same reaction if you just take CBD without THC. You need
Right.
THC to guide all the other cannabinoids in our body and heal our cells and make like feel that vibe.
For sure.
So I just feel that ice water hash, I just had friends making it and it was just I feel like it died, for a while there and it just started coming back 10 to 11 years ago, and people started smoking it again because no one wants to do knife hits. You don't want to have a knife hit on a stove and take a straw and like be like sucking the smoke off of it. It's like so weird. And the
Yeah.
glass community, like if they didn't start making pieces for us to be able to smoke, those quartz bangers, all the things,
Yeah.
like the rigs, like the torches, like I don't know, just cannabis has come like a really far way. And I really like the high. It's just much cleaner. I mean, who doesn't like ice, water, and cannabis?
For sure. And what would you say, like, how has like the edible market shifted like over time? Like, have you seen like a lot more, I don't know, more brownies and cookies, and then we've shifted more to like, gummies, or what have you seen?
Yeah, I think that it's like definitely went from cookies to gummies. I feel like gummies like is a really big market. I think it's like almost all the edible market too. So not almost all the edible market, but it's like a huge percentage of it. I feel that cookies, yeah, it's just not the same. We have our big competitors like Big Pete's, Carova, and Dr. Norm's, but you don't really see many other cookie brands and stuff. And there used to be cakes. There used to be tons of different stuff. That's just like not
Oh man,
anymore.
THC cake, that would be dope. Like a
Oh my
little
God,
like
ice
birthday cake.
cream. You could like do so much
Huh.
back in the traditional market or the medical market.
We should bring it
Yeah.
back. Well, you should
Oh
bring
my
it back
God.
with your when you have time. When you're done with Space Gems and you start your next dessert slash candy company. That's aside from it. You should totally do it. Whenever you have time. But like, yeah, I feel like if you have all of these, dreams to do things in candy, and there's like a lot of things that hold you back in the THC market. Although, there's like a big passion of helping people there. I feel like you can definitely have, a little candy shop on the side, or maybe something adjacent where you can get real candy and then medicated candy or something like that.
No, that would be like really amazing. It'd be
For
like my
sure.
kids' like dream.
Yeah, they could work in the candy shop and wear all the striped clothing. You know what I mean? They could do it all.
Oh my
But
God. Mhm.
yeah, well, thank you so much for coming and talking to me today. This has been really awesome.
How did
And
I do? Was it good,
no,
Maddie?
super good. No, super
Okay,
good. So
cool.
yeah, I just
Awesome.
wanted to. So, is there anything else that you want to shout out on the podcast before we close her up today?
Well, I'll definitely shout out Talking Trees is who I work with. Definitely shout out to them, and they grow the cannabis for our products and make the ice water hash, have hash. So shout out to them, and definitely shout out to Joey and Justin and Colin. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for giving me this opportunity, Maddie, and thanks for reaching out. This is like awesome, and I really appreciate being highlighted and. You're doing amazing. So big ups to you. You did an amazing job. So
Oh,
great
thank
job.
you. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you for coming on and sharing with us and coming on saving my ass. Appreciate you. So it's been super awesome. But have a
Yes.
wonderful day. We're gonna end the stream here. Thanks so much for coming, guys.
Totally. Have a good
Bye.
concert.